Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and this evening we'll have a look at the latest on the isolated thunderstorms we do have going on at the moment. As this heatwave comes to the end, we're having a bit of a thundery breakdown at the moment. We had some quite severe thunderstorms in the west and the north yesterday. It's time for the east to see these thunderstorms as this unstable air moves eastwards. We'll also have a look at the longer range models, and it does look like we could potentially be going quite unsettled for the next few weeks, and there's the potential we could even see some stormy weather coming. We'll have a look at the latest GFS, which does show that quite well. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in the description. So if we do have a look at the latest radar, you can see we've got a smattering of showers across the British Isles at the moment. You can see they are quite widespread and are forming them into lines at points, but there are many areas that are pretty dry, sunny, and relatively pleasant, with temperatures getting into the low 20s. You can see most of Ireland is pretty dry today, having had the last couple of days has been quite unsettled with a lot of heavy showers and storms around. Northern Ireland, a few showers to far northeast, but nothing too much. Across Scotland, quite a few widespread showers and a few isolated thunderstorms in the east and across the south. And across most of England and Wales, again, quite a lot of scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms in the east, where we did suspect they would be when we had a look at the Cape charts yesterday, with the most energy. Now, these sort of showers will be dying out over the coming days as we sort of go in between weather systems. So this is sort of the last day of seeing the potential for thunderstorms. So you can see quite a few isolated cells. If you're underneath these, it could be frequent lightning, the potential for some very heavy rain, and some gusty winds as well. So if we do have a look at Netweather, which does show these thunderstorms a little bit better with the lightning strikes, you can see each of these crosses is a cloud to ground lightning strike. And the colour gradient shows how long ago they were, so any red and oranges on the last sort of 10 and 20 minutes. Now those, of course, will take a bit of time to come in, so do take these with bit of a pinch of salt. There will of course be more lightning strikes. There's some cloud, and some just don't get registered, but you can see it is mainly in the east where we're seeing these lightning strikes within these isolated cells. You can see even across Scotland there's a few odd lightning strikes, but nothing too significant, just generally heavy showers with a few embedded thunderstorms in the east, across the East Anglia, parts of Lincolnshire, all the way up towards Yorkshire, and quite a significant thunderstorms over Durham at the moment. So yeah, quite isolated, but if you do see them, it could be quite significant conditions. So we do now have a look at the longer term outlook. We'll have a look at the GFS first of all, and you can see at the moment we've got that trough of low pressure, which is bringing the unsettled conditions. It is pushing that warmer air away to our east and bringing in fresher air slowly from the west. Over the coming days, especially in the far southeast, where we still do hang on to some higher pressure and some more pleasant conditions, we could be seeing still temperatures getting to the low, maybe 23, 24, 25 degrees at times, but widely things are looking at maybe around 20 degrees, which isn't too bad for this time of year. So if we look here coming out of Newfoundland, we can see ex-Hurricane Larry, which is heading up towards Greenland, and over the past week we have seen it potentially start to come towards the UK, but it is now definitely looking like it's going to be heading northwards. It will have downstream effects on the jet stream, and it could be bringing a few feet of snow to parts of Greenland as it comes into that very cold air over the Greenland ice sheets. But what it does is it breaks through more unsettled weather. We could see a brief sort of warmer spell in the far southeast early next week as we do pull up some warmer air once again with that buckled jet stream, but it does look like for the foreseeable future we're just going to be pushing in cooler and warmer sectors in off the Atlantic with a big area of low pressure sitting over towards Iceland. Very, very typical of something we'd be seeing in the middle of winter. As we head towards day 10, you can see just generally quite stormy and unsettled. And if we head all the way beyond 300 hours, you can see a really deep area of low pressure. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a named storm if we do see this. Now it is, of course, beyond 300 hours out, so it's very unlikely to come off exactly like this. But it does show the amount of energy that is in the jet stream. And this low pressure system sort of just sits over Ireland and northern Scotland and could be bringing a lot of strong winds and heavy rain as it spreads through. So very interesting from the GFS there, with very unsettled conditions coming in. We were having a look at the ensembles yesterday, and not many of them were going for this really deep low pressure sort of scenarios. But it does look like they are generally starting to move a bit more low pressure. And of course, the lower pressure is going to always be closer to the north and the west. So we'll have to, of course, compare sort of what the ensembles show from London and Glasgow. We'll do that at the end of the video. So if we do have a look now at the GM, see how that does compare to the GFS, you can see we've got low pressure breaking through this week with that ex-Hurricane Larry towards Greenland. And then we generally just have low pressure trying to push in. Right towards day 10, high pressure is having a go at building up from the south, but it is generally just going to be pulling in some Atlantic air. So it's not going to be particularly warm with that, but maybe drier, especially in the south for a period of time. But it's still looking unsettled. It doesn't really look like we're going to be seeing anything too majorly hot or too majorly dry over the coming weeks. Now, of course, we can see a couple of days here or there where we do see maybe some warm weather and some dry weather, but at this stage, it doesn't look like there's going to be anything sustained dry or warm. It definitely does look like it is going to always have the jet stream trying to push over any sort of ridges that do build, so it does look like it's going to be remaining pretty unsettled for the foreseeable future. If we do have a look at the ECMWF, see how that does compare, you can see again low pressure trying to push in off the Atlantic. And again, we can see the UK for the next sort of week or so is going to be in between weather systems. Not going to have low pressure over the top, neither high pressure over the top. So we're going to be having showers, maybe the odd pleasant day here or there, but probably some cloud around and, of course, rain at times. And you can see all the way to day 10, we remain with low pressure just to our north and our west. Going to be pretty unsettled further north and west. For the south and the east, it may be less unsettled, more settled at times. And we'll just have to see sort of day on day how it does develop. Right towards day 10, it does look like it's trying to build a ridge in from the far southeast. But you can see there's not a lot of warm air really there, as we are seeing sort of Arctic plunges into the middle of the Atlantic, fueling these low pressure systems. So it is looking like it is going to be remaining unsettled for the foreseeable future. So if we do have a look at the GFS Ensembles for London, you can see at the moment we've got quite a high amount of rain spikes for the heavy and thundery showers at the moment, and then we're going to just see temperatures around or maybe above average for the next few weeks. You can see a lot of up and down, and that's sort of typical of a sort of Atlantic pattern with warmer and cooler sectors. There is the potential for seeing some warmer air again early next week, as we saw on that GFS run in the far southeast. Potentially a day or two where we see some hotter conditions, potentially get up into the mid-20s again. But it does look like there's going to be showers around. And you can see for the foreseeable future a lot of precipitation spikes. No massive ones at the moment, so not the ensembles haven't completely resolved what time sort of low pressure is going to arrive, but it definitely does look like it's going to be relatively unsettled. And with temperatures in and around average, sort of flicking up and down, it is of course going to be a very westerly sort of pattern. If you have a look at the mean sea level pressure, you can see it is sort of trending lower pressure now. All of these ensembles are maybe a good 2, 3, 4, 5 millibars. Sort of 3, 4, 5 HPA above where they are now, which is not what we are seeing on the current ensemble run. And it does look like things are trending lower pressure. We're going to see a brief bit of ridge of high pressure over this weekend as this initial low we have at the moment does sweep away, and then it does look like it's going to be going lower pressure once again. And then there's a lot of scatter in the longer term with some deeper lows or some stronger highs coming in. And of course, it is still all up in the air, sort of 20th of September onwards, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. If we do have a look at Glasgow, see how that does compare. Be interesting to see if that's a lot lower, and you can see it is generally lower pressure than we're seeing in London. You can see a lot of the ensemble members are going for around 1,010 to 1,000 millibars in the longer term, which is symbolic of some deeper low pressure systems. Of course, bringing in some heavy rain and stronger winds, and even some really deep areas of low pressure. And you can see the GFS Operational Run right at the end, bringing in a quite deep area of low pressure on the lower end of the ensemble runs, but not a complete outlier. There is some support from it, and we'll have to keep an eye on how it does develop over the coming days. If you have a look at the 850 HPA and temperature, 850 HPA temperature and precipitation, you can see very, very unsettled, especially in the northwest, with a lot of precipitation and a lot of up and down in temperatures, symbolic, of course, of a westerly regime. So it doesn't look like anything dry is going to be coming to the north, and it's going to be looking like we're going to be seeing a lot of rain returning, a very autumnal or wintry sort of pattern for the north, with rain, jet stream powering up, and it does look like we're going to be seeing unsettled conditions, not particularly pleasant for the end of September. Of course, in the south, because we've got a westerly pattern, it's not necessarily going to be cold at times, and there is signals we could be going for quite a warm month overall, even though it might not be a particularly pleasant month, especially in the second half. So we'll have to keep an eye on sort of the temperature trends, but at this stage it's looking pretty unsettled, not particularly cold, not particularly hot, just really around sort of average temperatures, with probably above average rainfall, looking at what these ensembles are showing at the minute. If we do finally have a look at the UK Met Office run, seeing what it's showing over the coming days. So if you have a look at the precipitation rate, you can see a lot of showers breaking out. Of course, this evening, slowly petering away by sort of later this evening. And then generally quite a few showers around once again through Saturday, especially in the east once again, and even quite more persistent rain potentially across Scotland. And then we could see some more persistent rain across Southern Ireland. Weather front's trying to push in, but of course we are in between weather systems, so there's high pressure to our east trying to block away these low pressures advancing in. And you can see just really a mess of rain, especially in the west. And then by sort of Tuesday, although we could be starting to pull up some warmer air potentially from the far southeast, we could be sort of importing some thundery weather and some heavy rain as well, as it doesn't look like that sort of warmer sort of plume from the south is going to be particularly stable air. So be interesting to see what happens over the coming week. But it does look like it's going to be unsettled. There's going to be very few days where we're going to be seeing widespread dry weather. There's always going to be quite a few showers around, and it really is luck of the draw at this stage which areas are going to be seeing those showers and some are going to be missing out. Definitely favouring the east and the short range, sort of the next day or two. Beyond that, definitely the west, as you can see, we're seeing weather fronts trying to push in, and that's where we're going to be seeing the heaviest rain and the highest likelihood of showers. So if we do have a look at the max temperatures, you can see this afternoon we reached maybe 20, 21, 22 degrees in the Far East. Not particularly warm, but it is decent for this time of year, just not quite as warm as we've had this week. If we move through to Saturday, you can see widely low 20s in England, a bit cooler further west, so we do have that cooler air pushing in a bit quicker. And again, it will depend on sunshine amounts. 20 degrees with a lot of sunshine is going to be feeling a lot warmer than 22 or 23 degrees with thicker clouds. So it is all going to depend on sunshine amounts and where we do see those showers. But if you do see sunshine, I'd be pretty surprised if it isn't that present, to be honest. If we do run through all the way to Sunday, you can see temperatures, once again, maybe around 20, 21 degrees in the south, but for the north, it does look like it's going to be a lot cooler, maybe 10 degrees cooler than it was earlier this week, with temperatures struggling in the mid-teens. Proper autumnal weather trying to come in from the west with cooler upper air temperatures, meaning the surface temperatures are going to be really cooling down, and even overnight, Sunday to Monday, could be dropping down to mid to low single digits. By Monday afternoon, you see temperatures recovering in the south, maybe 22, 23, 24 degrees. If we do see that warmer plume come up from the south, of course, as we saw, it is quite unstable, so there's going to be some showers and so maybe some thundery weather. And by Tuesday, still that warmer plume in the east, maybe 23, 24 degrees, but once again, will be quite showery with that. So it does look like it's going to be quite unsettled for the foreseeable future. So do go out and enjoy any dry weather and sunnier weather we do have at the moment, as I'm sorry to say that we are starting on the descent down towards winter, where sort of every day it's going to be a harder and harder struggle to be getting nice, pleasant 20-degree weather. So do make sure you take advantage of all the nice conditions we do have now, because in about a month or two time, we'll be happy with sort of 15 degrees, 13, 14, 15 degrees and dry as winter does come up upon us. And I know some people here, a lot of people, and even me, to be honest, enjoy seeing sort of snowy weather a lot. So looking forward to that, but at the same time, it does come along with shorter days and a lot more wetter and cooler conditions in and around that as well. So do make the most of the next few weeks while we do still have some decent weather here or there in between the showers. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.